Good evening, and welcome to another segment of Deep Thought. Okay, now that we're done the introduction. Hi! It's me. I've taken my glasses off. I say as my non sequitur, so all you guys, all you people out there that are into Toastmasters, is my non sequitur. And it's going to stay that way.
Oh dear God.
Anyways, another non sequitur or whatever. Geez, count how many non sequiturs are in this? Okay. Let's see. Gathering my thoughts. Oh yeah, I'm going to talk about kids today. And how awful our child rearing is. Oh yay! I'm going to put that on cap. Everybody's going to turn this off now. It's not.
That's why YouTube has a pause button.
Exactly. Pause button. And for those people that know me, they know that I talk a lot. So you can interrupt me anytime. I'm all good. Right? I won't be offended, especially on YouTube. But I'm going to talk about some of the things that we're doing as parents and raising our children. I did a segment on lying earlier, and so I'm going to expand on that just as kids go. I don't know if you've seen it, but I'm going to sort of summarize how kids are big, huge lie detectors. And now, I'm going to go into some history here about children. And I mean, I know that all kids aren't as consciously smart sometimes, but subconsciously they're just absolutely great at being recorders. And they record everything. They get out of the womb and they start recording. And what our brain does is it starts processing and trying to make connections. One of the reasons that kids learn so quickly is because their brain synapse, as it grows, creates this subconscious net that looks at this stuff and takes all the information in and compares it to other information. That's why some kids can talk earlier than other kids. Just their brain processes that or puts it together faster. Okay, so they're great recorders. They start recording by the time they get out of the womb, and then they keep going. Well, one of the things that you have to know as a parent, that having the kids do this also allows them to learn how to manipulate early. Okay, and now manipulation is pretty simple. It's they first off they recognize that crying gets stuff that they need. Okay, so they'll cry. So as they get older, you find that their behaviors are like, well, I want that candy. Ah! It's like that whole. And of course, what it does is it hits your embarrassment button because other people are, looking at you. Oh my God, they must be a bad parent or something like that. And so you buy your kid the candy to shut them up. Well, this sort of creates this behavior, okay? A lot of people know this, but it creates this behavior in children that they will do things in order to manipulate to get other things that they want. So they are fantastic manipulators. And they are fantastic manipulators of us because we are their parents. And believe me, they watch you far closer than you ever watch them. And they record in their little subconscious what it is your behaviors and all of the things that you do. So if you're running around lying, if you're yelling at your husband, all of that stuff, and you have all of this stuff going on, these kids understand. They may not understand initially, but they record it for future reference. Okay, now you gotta scratch it. Okay.
Did you get for sticking your foot under the tripod?
Okay.
And yes, it was foot.
It was foot.
For you perverts out there.
Okay. So here your kids are. They're massively good lie detectors. And one of the things that we do as parents is, and like I said before in my lying segment, we lie all the time. Now, whether that's for psychological protection reasons, probably mostly, right? We needed to protect ourselves as kids growing up because our parents got ticked off at us for doing the wrong thing, quote unquote wrong thing. and for just generally being kids. And I mean, we create the psychological defense of lying, not only to everybody else but to ourselves. Well, what happens is as I've said before, the kids will come up to a parent and say, "Mommy, mommy, what's wrong?" Or daddy, depending on if they're feeling down and on the couch, maybe crying or something. And what we do as adults is we lie to them. We say, "Oh, nothing's wrong, dear." We're trying to protect them. I understand the whole desire to protect your children, but and
He's on your glasses.
oh well. My glasses, you goof. But I understand the desire to protect. The thing is that's not really protecting them. I mean, I understand that there are varying different degrees here. I get the luxury of talking from the place that I'm talking from. But, when you get into any kind of extreme situation, whether it's, wife beating or, I mean, like extreme situations, there are always going to be psychological defenses. There are always going to be ways to protect and do the things that we do. So, I mean, this is kind of a fine line. This is talking to people that can, one, remove themselves from a situation like that and or be able to take a look at what they're actually doing and like this sort of average everyday person, what they're doing with their children by saying, "Oh, honey, it's fine," as opposed to saying, "Oh, honey, there's something wrong, but it's okay. Mommy, it's a mommy thing, and mommy will deal with it. You just give me a hug because I could really use a hug right now. Thank you, thank you. Now go play." Okay, and by doing that, you're not undermining the child's own instincts, because when you're telling them there's nothing wrong, all you're saying is your instincts are wrong, and so as they move on into adulthood, that's what happens, is they distrust themselves. And what we're trying to do here is we're trying to create an environment where our kids can grow up not only trusting themselves and trusting their instincts, but feeling good about themselves. And our problem as a society is that we tell our children that they're wrong all the time. Not only that, we have this big expectation that our children should be adults and know things that the children don't know. They're kids, right? They're not going to be anything but kids. Now, treating them like morons is stupid as well. And I'm sorry, that's my opinion. But you don't treat children like morons. Children are not morons. It's okay to talk to your kids and do the baby talk as they're growing and stuff like that. But once they get past a certain point where they're talking cognizantly, if you treat them as children, you then again undermine their growth pattern by not allowing them to be able to move into an adult world. Now, I mean, most adults haven't moved into the adult world yet, so I'll explain that. Yeah, and it's just my opinion, because I mean, like I said, we continually lie, we continually doing this. I don't think that that's a very adult thing to do, personally. And like I said, that's my opinion, and I'm saying that I'm an adult. Sorry, I'm not an adult yet. I think I've matured past a certain point, but I don't think that I'm quite close to being an adult.
So if you're not an adult, who is?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that we as a race or as a species have really gotten past that to a great degree. I think that some people have, but the majority of us are still lagging far behind. Anyway, moving on about my opinion. It's, by treating our children like they're morons, which I see many, many people do. I mean, it's one thing to, discipline a child, and discipline can happen without anger, by the way. When you discipline a child without anger, you're also not humiliating them. I mean, think back to your past, right? And what all those things that happened to you as a child, that your parents did, and how embarrassed you felt about being who you are. and how that affected you. And it's not like, it's not like you or your parents or anybody is out to do that, not in your head. In your head, you're not doing that, but subconsciously, you're miming what has happened to you as you've grown. And that humiliation happens. I mean, we had it at school, when you did something wrong or you wore pink sneakers or something, right? I mean, it's like, imagine going to school, a guy going to school with pink sneakers, right? I mean, hell, I went to school with puka beads on, and and a silk shirt of my mom's, and don't tell anybody that. But I mean, and got ridiculed for that. And I mean, I know that at the time when I put them on, one, my real father had worn puka beads, right? So I didn't think that guys didn't do that. And two, my mom's silk shirt felt amazing. And I wore it to school. Everybody thought I was extremely weird, and I got teased, but that's okay.
Hate to tell you, honey.
I know they thought I was poofy, but I wasn't.
I just meant extremely weird.
Oh, yeah, well, lots of people think I'm extremely weird.
And we know you're not poofy.
No. But anyway, I mean, it's like, I remember feeling humiliated and stuff like that, and it was basically based on, I thought it was okay in my head, it was fine. But, I mean, everybody else teased me. I mean, my favorite one was the towel flipping thing. When I was raised by two ladies. I was raised by my mom and my sister. And, of course, when they tie up their towel and flip it over their head, right? And the first time I went to gym, oh my goodness, when the first time in junior high school here, I'm in Canada, in junior high school here, the first time we went into the showers, right? And you were supposed to bring a towel and stuff like that. And so I went and, showered and came out, and I had my my towel up in the hair thing, and everybody was laughing at me, and I had no clue, right? Just absolutely none. Like, and they told me that's what girls do, man. It's like, oh, crap, But okay, so off into the side stories. But remember what you felt like as a kid, being humiliated. Remember when you made a mistake and you were called down by your dad or your mom, and just given a talking to, when you never had any intention of doing any of that, and how bad you felt, not only about yourself, but about the deed that you did, and how hard that you come down on yourself for anything that was similar to that later, and how much you tried to hide anything that you did because of that humiliation. And I don't think that we understand how big I don't think we understand how big humiliation plays a role in our lying and undermining our own self-assurance.